Good morning, my dear friends. Coming to you from Belgium, Immanuel John here. Welcome to my show. We are truly wishing you all a Merry Christmas. Today's Boxing Day, 26th of December 2025. We are not far from 2026. I hope you get to spend some time with family and friends during these holidays. And today I'm very happy and delighted to have the CEO of We Are Angels, or also known as Office Angels, Vincent Van Leemputten. Thank you for joining us on our show. We're actually on site at Office Angels, and we're excited to be here. So Vincent, you have been for the last 20 years doing different things. You've done a lot of different things. You spent 2 decades as a trainer, as a consultant. Tell us more about yourself. Introduce yourself.
All right. Thank you for inviting me to your show. It's an honor. I want to maybe cut a little bit in the 20 years because that would give a lot more than 1 hour. But let me start with this. Actually, I've done a lot of things in my life. I've always been someone with a huge fire inside me, passion to search for things moving and doing, very curious of nature. And honestly, I was rather quickly bored with jobs. I've always been interested in how things work and function, and once I have a grab of it and I know, and then I move on. And it brought me actually to one of the things that I've been a consultant, a big part of my life. I've been an international consultant for Europe. I was a Microsoft trainer for 80% of the time, and I did also for 20% of the time sales training and assertiveness trainings, and that was really lovely. It was my thing.
Wow.
And I've learned so many things. I've been working with more than 300 companies in that time, all over Europe, and you see the cultural differences. And one of the things is that I discovered that happiness at work, it was something, a missing key for myself already, but I saw it in the eyes of a lot of people that there was something missing. Like they come to work and there was no passion.
Correct. Work often tends to become a chore, especially if you're not reinventing your work every day, if you don't look into improving yourself every day. That's when things start to change. An attitude of learning. How do you think, is that important in your life? I think you're the kind of person who's always learning. Am I correct about these things?
I can't stop learning. I told you that I have a therapist, and I love to go every month, once an hour, just to offload thoughts and ideas and to have a discussion with her. And I've asked her many times, and she always gives me the same answer, but I have the feeling that I need to switch off, that I don't have a button where I can just take it easy, rest, and stop. No. And I asked her, like, how do you do that? And she says, but you don't have that button. So I'm like, okay, what do I do then? Just be yourself and go and do things. And that's who I am. So yes, learning is a big part of my life. I love to discover new things.
That's a very important key lesson to learn from our friend over here as a CEO. So, Vincent, you have scarcity to abundance. That's something we talked about earlier. We were having a conversation. What does that mean to you?
Yes, the scarcity mindset. I'm a man of many trades, and I'm not a perfectionist anymore. I used to be, and the last 2 years I've been in private life. I've been through phases, and I've discovered that the scarcity mindset controlled me so much on many things. And it was important for me to find the source, the core of that idea. Why am I reacting in fear of missing out on things? Why am I not happy with this? Why am I jealous? Why am I this? Why, you know? And I thought, like, why? Why am I so insecure about myself sometimes? Mm-hmm. It's absolutely not necessary. and I've learned many things about myself, and I'm the kind of person who holds a mirror and talk to myself and say, like, what can I do to change this? And the scarcity mindset, that's a big game changer. Let go and accept and be grateful of what I have today.
Absolutely. Actually, my friends, this is one of the most important things, and I hope to teach my children as well. And this something interesting happened yesterday. We were in church. My daughter, she's 9 years old, and it was the first time we asked her to read a prayer in front of the whole church. There were well over 70, 80 people in church, and she cried. She cried because she was asked to do it quite early in the service, and she was building up to it. She had never done anything like this before, and she cried her heart out, and she was fearful. And I held her and I said, it's only going to be difficult at a later stage if you don't try it. And it's much more difficult in your head than it really is. Usually it's much easier once you actually do the thing that you find is a nightmare task. But you finally did it, and she did it. She went up there, she spoke in a slow voice, but she did it, and she realized that actually most of the fear was in her mind. The rest of it was much easier than expected. Indeed, we tend to put a lot of mental barriers on ourselves. But actually, that's part of the growth. Don't go through that, because I went through that. My child went through that. Everybody goes through that if you're trying to accomplish something real. And something real happens from within. And that has to come from within. Do you agree with this?
Absolutely. It's I think it's everyone's individual path of discovering and growth and purpose. I find purpose very important. Talking about children, you have your beautiful children, and growing in these things, and these are the first steps, because they're young. My son is also young; he's 17, but he discovered purpose at the age of 14, where he discovered he wanted to become a train driver.
Oh, wow.
And suddenly his scores at school, they changed, everything went up, and he had motivation, and he started thinking about how can I do this, and discovered that, and learning, and he was busy on his own. Purpose is so important in life, and I think everyone should think and take a moment for themselves to be grateful in first place, but to also think like, what is my purpose for myself? And it doesn't have to be a clear answer immediately, but it's a path to grow.
Correct.
Yes.
It's a path of self-discovery, and that indeed requires some time away in your mind. It's not necessarily that you need to go away someplace, but you need to take stillness and search your mind. So how did office angels come to exist? How does this core idea?
It started actually in 2022 when I started with Office Angels. I had a previous company. Office Angels is my 5th company.
Wow.
And previously to that, I was in retail, and I've been through 7 years, and there were 7 tough years. Really tough years. I've learned the trades with falling, and I was very lucky to have a wonderful wife next to me who was very patient, who helped me through the difficult moments. And yes, it was a business of many challenges. But then in 2021, someone was interested in buying the company. I sold everything. I was very happy. And in the 4-month sabbatical that I took in 2022, I started thinking like, am I going to work for an employer, or am I going to become independent again, like self-employed? And my wife at that moment, she was like, oh, but I would be very happy if you would work for an employer and leave all the things on the side.
Correct.
And I couldn't. I did apply for jobs, but I was very insecure about all the things that I could do. I was like, I've always been self-employed. how am I going to hit the market now, and who's going to want me with all the things that I did?
Yes.
And I thought, okay, I'm going to start my own company. That's my most secure way. I know exactly what I can, what I can't, and I don't have to explain anything to anyone. I'll just start. So I started drawing a company, which was a thing where I wanted to help a lot of self-employed companies, little freelancers, for example, or little companies. In Dutch, we say a KMO, like the small enterprises. And I know that it's so tough if you don't have the money for employees, if you don't have the money for buying skills that you need for someone helping you in the company, it's really tough.
Correct.
So I started designing that. And in the beginning, I had office, sales, web, and marketing. The 4 most important items that were necessary for small companies. That's what we can help you with. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, like, okay, but I can do all these things myself, and I'm okay with doing it, but there are some tasks that I really don't like doing. And that's when I came up with my ABC list.
Correct.
Where A tasks are the things that you love, they give you energy, you feel fulfilled. The
Correct.
B tasks are the things that you feel okay with, it's neutral, it doesn't cost you energy, it doesn't take away the energy. But then you have the C tasks, and here inside Office Angels they call it the shit list.
The shit list.
Exactly.
Pay attention, folks.
And you know, whatever is a C task for you is someone else's A task.
Correct.
So with that idea in mind, I thought, okay, how can we technically and financially organize a system where people can help each other? And so I came to self-managed companies, where actually you help each other. You take ownership for your tasks, and you help each other in realizing the goal, but you do it in team.
Correct.
And that's how Office Angels was born, actually. So immediately when I started Office Angels, I had the first month already, the first employee. Mm. And every month there came a new employee. And actually they're all freelancers, but they act like employees because they all feel that they're part of the community.
Yes. And is there a particular difference that comes from having a real employee, as you say, or more of working with freelancers? How is that different in your experience so far?
That's a very good question. Mostly I get, and just to frame it a little bit, mostly I get the reaction of people that, yeah, but freelancers are not as involved in our company. And I say that's bullshit.
Completely untrue.
That's, sorry my language, but...
No. Language is fine. We're all for free speech here.
Yes.
No.
But that's utter and complete, no, that is nonsense.
Correct.
What makes a person dedicated to work with you, not for you, but with you, to realize a goal, to realize your ambitions? What does that take? It takes culture, it takes dedication to be with that person. It doesn't take like, hey, you do this and that's what I'm expecting for you. That world is gone.
Correct.
Today we have modern workplaces where people want to work with each other, not for someone. Yes. And that is a cultural mind shift. So even if they're on the payroll or freelance, if you cannot inspire them to work with you, it will not work.
Correct. And so it's a wonderful thing to work with dedicated, self-realized professionals, because these freelancers also understand better what's at stake for a business. Because some of them have their own businesses, have a VAT number, and if you know or run anything like a business in Belgium, you know that it's administration heavy, it's paper heavy. We still live in a very... I still get paper, mails at home from the government. So they still do. It's 2025. They went paperless in a lot of ways, but But indeed, I have found, and I have experience office angels myself, because I was in a similar position. I was running a lot of the company myself. I had a lot of C tasks. For example, accounting. I don't necessarily enjoy it. I don't necessarily enjoy sending everything to my accountant. It's tedious for me. It takes away time from my family, from my kids. Therefore, I was looking for the same solution, and voila, I somehow managed to run into Vincent, and I've used their help for accounting and other administrative tasks, which I have honestly no interest in doing. I was doing it for years, but now I'm happy that professionals can take over. Wow, and that has changed my business. It's really helped me to find time. And time, people, as you know, is money, is everything, actually. And how you live your time is very important. So do more of your A tasks and your B tasks, and leave the C's for somebody who's really into it, passionate about it, and somebody who's willing to spend time and making their living out of it. So that's a wonderful point. What are the three core principles within this framework? So you talk about having freelancers work on all these different tasks. How do you run the show? How does that finally work in an operational way?
Yes. So the three core principles, and I'm thinking that you aim to talk about the E3, what we say, what means energy, efficiency, and the effect, actually.
Correct.
So, and that's what makes customers happy, but also our angels, and that's one of the main things. If the angel is not happy, it's going to be always short term. Working or cooperating. One of the things, before I go to the three core principles, is that an angel in the company, they must feel safe to say, no, I'm not going to do this. Not as harsh as I'm saying it now, but like if you're asking me, hey Vincent, wow, whatever you did with that newsletter, that was amazing. Could you do some work on the website also? I could say yes, but actually it doesn't give me energy. It drains me because I find it tedious or whatever reason it is. Is it okay if someone else can do the job?
Yeah.
And for you, actually, the main outcome is, yeah, of course. I just want the website to be done because it doesn't give me energy also, right? All right, so someone else comes in and they fix the website and it takes them 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes for whatever it's done. And you could say, oh, come on, Vincent, for the 15 minutes that you do. I find it important that someone can say, no, this is not my thing. And actually I'm happily giving that job to someone else who's going to be very happy about it. Right?
That's fantastic.
And that's why we come to the three core principles. The first one is energy, the ABC tasks. I'm not going to repeat that, the ABC tasks. The second one is efficiency. Like, it's actually the Eisenhower matrix. If you ever heard about it, it's not that difficult, but it's just frame it very, very shortly. You have tasks that have a high impact and you have tasks that have a low impact. You have tasks that have a high urgency and tasks that have a low urgency. So if you have a task, for example, that is high impact and high urgency, that means drop all the rest. This is like all the alarms are going off and we need to take care of that right now. A task that is low urgency, low impact, drop it. You don't need to do that anymore. For example, what is a task that is low impact and low urgency? Reporting that someone has to make and that the manager needs to read, and he's going through it and he's like, okay, that's good. But the person, it took them 3-4 hours every week to make that report. And the manager goes over it and he's like, yeah, all right, that's 5 minutes and done. Now, it could be important for the manager just to see 1 or 2 facts, but maybe it's enough, instead of doing the whole reporting, to just condense it to whatever is necessary, or maybe the manager could do it themselves, right? And that is like low impact, low urgency. It's not urgent, it's just a KPI, it's just another RKO, it's just whatever we need to see now, right? So that's the second pillar, actually. And the third one, it's efficiency, or effect. I don't remember what I said.
You first went to efficiency and now it's
Right.
effect, yes.
It means that for us, it's important that when you come in as a team, that it doesn't take a long curve to learn.
Correct.
I've done a lot of research on sociocracy, on teal organizations, agile systems, Scrum, all these systems, and I love it to bits. But a lot of them are very academic.
Correct.
And it's fantastic if you can go in depth, because I'm in organizations, in groups where we chat and we spar with each other about how do you do this and how do you do that with other CEOs. But we see that on the floor, people who are in operations, they don't have the time always to learn all these bulky and heavy loaded systems. And it takes a lot of time then before you get into the system. So I've created my own system, which is called Angel Flow. I had to give it a name, and I love angels. So Angel Flow, and that system is something that needs to come into the company and be as swift as possible. You implement it, and after 20 minutes, an hour, everyone understands how it works, the mechanics, and then there is follow-up.
Correct.
That is that's actually the third core principle. Yes.
So efficiency, effect, energy. And I have seen that in action. They are very quick to respond. They are very quick to understand the flow on how the people work, how the different guardian angels who are specialized in accounting, in marketing, in sales can help your business. I've seen it in action, and it's as effective as it promises it to be. So, Vincent, what are your plans for 2026? Because I know you already have a steady base of clients. How are we changing in 2026?
One of my big, bold dreams is that I want to change the world of how we work. And that's something that comes from deep in my core. And I know that there are a lot of people who want that change, because whenever angels or freelancers, they apply to become an angel, they love our philosophy. They just they see it and they're like, oh wow, I want to be part of the community. It's not called an enterprise or a company anymore. No. A lot of our angels, they call it a community. And these like-minded souls, they love giving and working together and doing things in a very dynamic way. And that is my dream for 2026. We're going to take it completely online. That's our challenge, to get it done in 26, to create a platform with our philosophy, with our Angel Flow model, that everyone can work and cooperate in a similar way. For example, that you come on the website and that you say, hey, I need someone to do a task that is that, and pops, you have 1, 2, or 3 people who could do that task, and they say, this is my A task. Please let me do this. And hop, and you take them in the team, and off you go. Wow. So very swift, very, very fast, and a trustworthy environment where people can work together.
That's good. So, as you can see, and everyone who's in business should know this, the time to market is very important. How quickly you can get an idea out through the door and reiterate on the same idea or improve it matters. As technology evolves ever so fast, ever so quickly, these things, how quickly you can iterate and how quickly you can improve, makes all the difference. And I see a very giant niche, a potential market for exactly what you're doing. That's a very good effort. And it is no less a challenge because all great things require effort, people. Keep that in mind. Nobody in business is just doing it for free, but they do it out of passion. A lot of the businessmen and women who are into it the long run, it's a long game, understand that they have to play it long. Do you understand this concept as well? Is it part of your DNA?
It's not always been a part of my DNA. I'm a king in startups, and I love the creativity and sometimes the explosion of ideas. So I'm someone who goes for the long run in the short phase, in the first phase.
Correct.
That I want. That's my start, and that's my goal, and that's where I want to go. But from then on, once the things are moving, I'm ready to let it go and have someone be CEO or whatever, just to make it work and see that the operations fine-tune and get better, and when it gets bigger, that it's a nice. And then me, I'm more in the back door, somewhere in the back office.
Yes.
I'm not the CEO type.
No, not the CEO type, the guy who's more the founder type, who likes to bring out wonderful ideas and then to let it go by itself with a better team in place.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's often the different way, the different approaches to business, because you can help businesses grow, you can invest in businesses, but you can also start one yourself, get it going, and hand it off to more capable hands when you know you've hit your peak of interest, time, limitations, and other factors. And so, Vincent, 2026, it is a very turbulent time in Europe. We have economic struggles. We have unemployment in Spain being 8%, in Finland being 9%, bankruptcies in Germany hitting all-time high. How important do you think it is for Europeans at large today to adapt to these changes? Do you see deep structural issues within Europe and within Belgium that are potentially preventing explosive growth that we really think? I really believe Europe is capable of explosive growth and innovation, but it seems to me that there are a lot of structural issues. Do you see that as well? Or?
Yes, and today what we need more than ever is speed and flexibility. And with AI now dominating the world already, they were like, yes, but AI this and AI that. I see it with my own eyes, AI being used. We have developers who are not going to have a job anymore in 1 or 2 years because people can make their own websites through vibe coding.
Correct.
Stuff like that, which is fine. You will still need developers, but for other things, not the tedious coding anymore. Yeah. It's a process. But I think that actually I'm convinced that today's world, the CAPEX world, we're moving to a world that is more OPEX, where people want not invest all their capital in one thing, not put all their money in a thing, but to take assets and take leasings left and right and make it move much faster. If it's not necessary anymore, just stop it and move on, and that you can cut quickly. Mm-hmm. And that is going to be necessary. That's why angels, it's easy and profitable for companies, because in Belgium, for example, and I don't know for the other countries, but I know for Belgium that the costs for people on the payroll are quite high, but also letting them go, it costs a lot.
It costs a lot of money.
Yes. So for freelancers, yes, if tomorrow it's a turbulent moment and you don't have work for 2 or 3 months, you just stop for 2 or 3 months with a freelancer. With someone on the payroll, you can't. You have to pay them. And either you're creative and you find another job for them, or you put them on technical leave or whatever.
Yes.
But it's very challenging, and our world today needs speed and flexibility.
Correct.
So I totally agree with you that there is a lot of growth possible in Europe, and it's not a hack, but it's just we need to focus, go and do it.
Actually, yes. And that's always been the sign of a healthy economy, is when you have a lot of freelancers, is when you have a lot of mom and pop shops, as they say, small businesses. That shows you that there's activity. And it's a very dire sign when you walk down the main street in your neighborhood and you find that businesses are shutting down left and right. That's not a good sign, folks. So people in Belgium, pay attention to what's happening. It should be very important for people to understand that we need more and more individual skills, interpersonal skills, and technical skills. And we should be able to allow more freelancers, more people who can work together just by cooperating and not going through the entire cycle of hiring and firing, because it's prohibitively expensive. You could have a lot of people who have the means to do and hire people, but they just don't do it because of the fact that there is no business continuity proposition from a government perspective, from taxes perspective. We don't see that it's worth that kind of investment, because you finally need a return. For every employee that you hire, you still need to have your revenue that matches. And keep that in mind, a lot of times, a lot of entrepreneurs are the last to get paid. The genius of Jeff Bezos is not the fact that he has a €1 trillion or $1 trillion company. It's the fact that he went through 11 years of red. Yeah, he got that company. Amazon was losing money the first 11 years that it was existing.
Exactly.
And that's his main talent, the fact that he survived that and he managed to find more investors and other people who could carry that loss for 11 years, more than a decade. That is the genius of Jeff Bezos. So we need to understand in Europe that it's prohibitively expensive to hire. It's more flexible indeed to work with people, and the government and the people should wake up to this and demand freer work mechanisms within Belgium. And I think that's very important, and I'm glad we touched on it. And so 2026 holds a lot of challenges, but also promises. What do you expect to see in 2026 from your perspective?
That's a good question. Actually, I'm fired up. I am so fired up because whatever is happening in the world, it gives me whatever Trump is doing, the Chinese are doing, the Russians are doing, everything in the world. It's the same stuff anywhere, but it's really heart on heart now, because it's like getting as much business as we can to our own countries, and yes, whatever Trump is now doing, and I absolutely don't agree with his style and work, but he's making movements in the world, and we are going to see a new order of things are going to shift.
Absolutely.
And I'm not the kind of person who's going to be now afraid of, I'm going to lose my job and whatever. No, on the contrary, he's firing me up like, absolutely, I don't know what. And I want to start, I'm starting a new business on the side, on the second business here next to Angels. Because I just feel it. I want to go in that competition. It's fine for me. Yes. Let's do it, and let's all do it together.
Actually, you touched on a very important point, and we may not agree or disagree, or you may like Donald Trump, you may not like Donald Trump, but one thing we have to agree is that he's changing a lot of things which were orthodoxy, things which were even very controversial. A lot of things have changed, and that fires us up indeed to do things differently. If Europe is indeed too long under the brow of America, constantly depending on them, indeed, maybe it's time for us to be more sovereign, more independent, focus more on our local people. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves, is actually, I always understood from civics education back in India, is that local government works and people live and dwell locally. The more you have a local foundation, more investment in your own locality, in your own people, that's when you build strength. Because let's go back 200 years ago, the community was the neighborhood church or the neighborhood temple in India. This is where people commune, and we are communable. We are people who communicate. It's our duty to form communities, and it's our duty within Europe to improve the quality of life of Europeans, of the people around us, especially Belgians. Because we live in Belgium, and let's not, we say we're the second largest block of economics in the world. We talk about GDP and stuff, but we are still individual countries with completely different languages, cultures. Even though we have a common good and a common destiny, we still are very different, and we still need to respect that difference and to work on it at a local level. That's where you will have the biggest result. And I thank you for your time. It's really been a wonderful conversation. So if anybody, I think the interview was to cover the basis of Office Angels. I have used them. I'm super happy with the way they work. They're confidential. You can trust them. I will give you more information as to where we can reach out to Vincent. Of course, Vincent is always keen to help young entrepreneurs, older too. As you know, in Belgium, we are at the average age is 43, so we need to have more children, people. Keep that in mind. Coming from an Indian, it may sound like, okay, yeah, you are too many already, but okay, we need to have more children too, okay?
Is that an Indian joke?
All right. So if you need to come to Office Angels, you can go to www.weareangels.com. You will see it in the description. Email is flywithus@weareangels.com. If you join up with Immanuel, your friend, you get a 3 months, no subscription fee. You get to experience 3 months of, wonderful people, freelancers you can trust, you can reach out to on WhatsApp, you can reach out to on email any time of the day, and they respond. Very responsive, and you will have a great time. Try it out. It costs you nothing for the first 3 months. It will only cost you, of course, the billable hours that you request the help for. It's been a lovely Boxing Day. 2026 promises to be a very interesting year for our audience. We have a long list of people that we are trying to get onto podcasts. We are trying to get different leaders. We're trying to get different commentators. And it's going to be very interesting. We'll keep talking to Vincent once in a while because, he gives me inspiration. And it's always lovely to speak to another entrepreneur. 2026 coming up, folks. It's a very dire time in many parts of Europe. Actually, yesterday I was at a cash point, and there was an older man, 85 years old. And he was saying in Dutch, he was saying, "Sir, I only get a pension of 500 euros a month. Can I have some money?" This is at a bank contact cash point. It broke my heart. That was a Christmas day. It was not fun to see a pensioner, a very tall gentleman, 85 years old, very frail, asking for money at a cash point. This is a sad thing, and we should not see this in Europe. And I think we should improve our countries that we work and live in. And I thank you for your time. I'm sorry, I'm a bit emotional. This happened yesterday on Christmas Day. I do not like these kind of things. It affects me personally. But it also inspires me to inform you clients and you audience that there's a lot of work to be done in Europe, certainly in Belgium. And I hope you give Vincent a call. He's available at weareangels.com. Fly with us at weareangels.com. You can reach out to me if you like my work. Consider subscribing, consider liking, sharing. I also have you can buy me a coffee. I have the link in the description. So thank you for your support. I wish you all a great preparation for 2026. I have a couple other videos coming out. I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you so much. Thank you, Vincent, for your time.
Thank you.
You have been absolutely fantastic. Yes. And I wish you great luck for 2026.
For you too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wow.